rubbed my thumb along the beautiful marble stonework. There were grooves etched into the work that had been perfectly smoothed out, rays of light symbolized in the rock and embedded periodically with purple stone. Even the banisters in the palace were incredible. I walked down the steps again, marveling at how much work the Ceremaians had done, even in just the last week. They'd begun to clear out roadways through the rubble, and they had audacious plans for the city that they were going to build. It may never get as large as Demaeus Cry was under the Profithians, but it was a home for the Darkened, and it was just incredible. They'd insisted on building a palace before anything else, and as much as I insisted that they not do that, there was only so much power I had in that regard. The second story wasn't done, but the first story was absolutely incredible. I walked down the gray stone lit with purple lights that bled orange as I walked past. As I turned down a hallway, I again just appreciated the beautiful natural lighting along with the purple lights and the alcoves where they planned to put statues of my achievements. I'd made them promise to wait to do that until after the city was built, so I had some time before that went in. A lot had happened, and it was incredible to see all of the growth that had happened. In the last week, we'd taken in the Darkened from Sam Tath, the city I'd destroyed at first. They'd come down to Demaeus Cry and helped us rebuild. And the Ceremaians, whose ancestry had always had a focus on masonry, kept up that focus, and they did an incredible job. They worked hard, and they were so happy. Things were just as hard, I feel like, for them as before, but they were free. And I was glad to have been a part of that. As I came down the stairs, I sensed somebody coming down the hallway. Scar, smiling despite myself. I pulled Talonthorn from my scabbard and closed my eyes. Rushing out, she swore and pulled a staff out of her pocket. As I rushed at her, face expressionless and eyes closed. I used Destiny to get within her range before dropping Talonthorn and tackling her to the ground, turning around so I ended up on bottom. I laughed as she hit me in the shoulder. Juke! You're an idiot, G, you know that? I just laughed. She kissed me and got up, kicked me in the foot before grabbing her staff. I drew Talonthorn to my hand and put her back in the scabbard. As I put my arm around Scar, and we walked out the back balcony to see the work that was going on in the city. There was so much happening. And Scar said, just so you know, I got back from Tiroso. They're not nearly as prepared as Sarak Ma is, but they're getting there. We'd had an attack in the last week from another city on Saramea. It was the whole world that was taking over Profithians, not just this city. And though their ISO had stopped working, it had all bled purple when it came in the area. They were going to find a way soon. We bested them, and we knew that we'd best others, but we built up as fast as we could. There were just so many things to do, and I did the best that I could not to think about it all, but there was a lot of exciting stuff, and a lot of hard stuff too. Scar seemed to be able to sense it. And we talked about all kinds of things, looking over the balcony, and And I said, it's okay. We don't have to worry about all kinds of things. Athan and the council that I forced him to take on, they can take care of everything. They're in charge of Saramea. And Scar looked at me. We both knew that they didn't like that. They all felt like I was in charge. As little as I wanted that. And she said, gee, why do you keep fighting it? Like, they gave you a palace. You're the emperor of the universe. And I said, Scar, no, I haven't even finished high school. Like, I'm not ready for that. She said, are you really going to go back home? I still wasn't sure. I'd only seen my parents once since everything had happened, and I wanted to be there for them too. And part of me really wanted to be a normal kid again. But at the same time, I knew I wasn't going to be able to leave this behind. I finally nodded. I said, even if I don't immediately take the throne, or even if I do immediately take the throne, I'm going to be leaving for different places. I can't be here all the time. They're going to need leadership. And so I might as well go back home. Besides, they can handle things. They're able-bodied. And Scar nodded. She said, I still haven't found Darren. And I didn't respond to that. I was glad. I didn't want to see him. I did not want him back, and I knew no one else did either. Scar was the only one that, for some reason, I didn't know what had happened. But I didn't respond. We'd worry about him later. There were better things to focus on. And a world to take care of. A symbol of hope. End of G Part 2. One with Destiny.